Hello and welcome. This is Kristen from Life of Crafting, and I just made this card and I'm going to show you how I did it. We're using the new Lawn Fawn Pool Party, and it's a stamp and die set that they just came out with, which I thought was really cute. And the way they designed it is that they have a pool floaty. This looks like a pool raft. I understand it's supposed to be a towel, but they're supposed to be like out sunbathing. Got a couple like beach themed stuff, and when I saw this I thought right away it would look like a really cute like playing in the surf kind of card. So that's what I came up with. So I hope you like it, and I'm going to show you right now. And I will preface this by saying I am very new to doing anything with the distressed Oxide inks, and I don't have a huge array of Copic markers. If I had to guess, I have well, enough that barely, like this is all I have. So I don't know, maybe 100 markers we'll say. So I have enough colors, but I don't have a huge array, and I'm not very good coloring with these yet. I'm still learning, so I figure if I try to do a project at least maybe once or twice a month, that'll get me better at this. I'd like to try and do it once a week. So having said all that, let's get started. So to do the background on this, I have some random paper that I got at a friend's house that was getting cleaned out. And this is some kind of Marco's paper, and it was called like a cougar or something really weird. I'll look at when I get up in a minute. And I got myself a blending brush. These are just something I got off of Amazon. And I started with a few different colors, and the one I settled on was the Salty Ocean, which kind of makes sense, doesn't it? But my ink pad is really juicy, as you can see. So I started with a couple other colors, and because of how juicy this was, this color just took over. And I'm not saying it was bad, but I want to do the whole sheet. So to me, and I'm not really caring, and my fingers are just a mess from this. I'm not really caring. Again, this is supposed to be the surf. So if there's white sections, that's fine. If there's dark sections, I don't care. And you can see that like by the time it dries, it really doesn't matter. So I was trying to use up all this stuff because it's literally like pulled up on the lid and everything else. Which is weird because some of mine seem like they're really needing a refill when I bought them new. And then this one's like super juicy. So good thing I'm learning with Oxide inks. Like I have swirls, but the more you keep playing, it just pushes this ink around. It doesn't like dry right away. So I can still push them streaks away. And again, I don't really care. You'll see that by the time you die cut it and you work with it, like you just don't see that anymore. So again, I'm not caring that there's light spots, there's dark spots. I did use a little bit of a, sorry, I keep moving stuff. I was also using the speckled egg, and what I used speckled egg for was to try and give it some, just want to make sure I kind of don't have a lot of this ink on here left. I was trying to give it a little bit of lighter spots, and again, that will help you smooth out some of that coloration is what I was finding. And one of the things I learned about was that with Oxide inks, you don't have to worry about like one color contaminating the other. That just strikes me as really weird. I don't know how that works. I'm not into the chemistry of it, but I found it really interesting so that you didn't really have to worry about, because I thought it was odd when you see people using these brushes and they're just dipping it in all these different colors, but there's not really like any cleaning being done. So that to me is fine. It's just going to be my ocean. And then my sky, all I did was take another sheet of this paper, and this is a regular 4.5 by, I do need to cut it down a little bit, but I just used the ink that was already in the brush and just wiped it around. And it's weird how there's like spots that are showing up. Don't that look like clouds in there? I just wiped it around, and it just randomly left some light spots, and that was fine for me. This part's going to be hidden down here under the surf, so that was all I did for my background. I didn't get real too crazy with it. So we've got the background, and then I'm going to use, I'll give you the name when we get back. It's another Lawn Fawn, and it's like their waves dye, like it's a waves border dye or something, and there's 3 of them. And I will show you what I did, because I don't know if you can take notice. There is 3 layers of waves in there. So I'll show you how I cut those to get to that, and so that's put aside. And then the coloring for the animals and such I did with Copic markers. So I already stamped and cut these out. This is the Lawn Fawn Pool Party. Let me see, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. And then this is a Spellbinders. It was a sun and clouds die. That's what I used. So I have a boatload of markers that I used. That is all the colors. I will try and lay out the bids as I color them. Sorry for all the noise. So for the cat, I decided to do like a ginger color. I used YR24 and 27. So again, I am no expert. Oh, his nose, not that you really notice it, I did with R20. I just dabbed the nose to make it pink, but you know what, you really don't see it. I don't even know why I bothered. So I did him all the YR24 color, and I just made sure I stayed in the lines. I didn't get all trying to be fancy here yet. Now a lot of him is going to be under the water, so I didn't worry too much. Like, I colored the tail on like a, you know, if I don't, that'll probably be something that gets seen. So then I used, and here's my card, I used the YR27 to give me some shading. But if you're not aware, I'm a cat whisperer apparently. I have cats my entire life. They just show up. They find me wherever I go. So fun facts about cats, that there is no such thing as an orange cat that doesn't have tiger striping. So for me, I added a few on top of their head. I just added a few going across. Didn't even like go all the way across because their stomach doesn't have to be striped. And that was all I did for him. That is it. I will try to blend out a few areas. But again, he's got striping, so I'm not really caring. He's good to go. So then I put some snorkels on him, and originally I wanted to have him just hold them off to the side, but they added eyeballs in there, so I couldn't just leave it off to the side. So to give the little bit of the, you know, you always got that film on the lenses, I just used a C1 on the lenses. And then I also used the C1 on the, a couple of different things, so I have it out. This die does emboss kind of these swirls in the clouds, so I used my C1 on that just to give it some definition in there, because, you know, it would be darker there, wouldn't it? Although I don't know if my I would say that there's swirls and clouds, but you know, you get the point. And then one of the things I did with that too, nice things about these light ones is if you don't really get it where you want it, it adds definition, but it's not like somebody's going to scrutinize and be like, oh, look, she went out of the lines. These are really kind of light, so I just used it to give me some transition there. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. These clouds, I was saying in another video, I'm trying to be very like stealthy in my crafting, like meaning if I buy stuff, I want them to be things I can use over and over and over again. And I had bought these, I don't even know how long ago, probably well over a year ago. I'm like, why didn't I ever use them before? I mean, that's all it is the sun and clouds. And it's like, wow. The lamb I'm doing with this too. And just kind of throwing color in wherever, because a lamb, you know, has that nubby fur that it's just going to show up all kind of random. And to me, a lamb always has a darker face. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me. I know nothing about them, but this is Kristen's version. So I just added some detail and then put some shading in where I think, you know, there would be some shading. And I'm doing this like if they were standing out, which, you know, my coloring skill set doesn't really equate to where the sun would be. I'm not that good. And I will go back and kind of blend some of that in. But he's kind of good. He is kind of good. Oh wait, let me just do this. He is kind of good. And then the sloth. Oh, I didn't finish his, oh my. I didn't finish his snorkels. I wanted to bring in like a green. I didn't want to keep having so many blues and yellows. So I brought in a green for this. I guess a snorkel could be really any color. They could even have glitter on them, I'm sure. I just added a little bit. That was YG17. I used a little bit of YG67 just to give it a little bit of shading. Love watching like Nicole Spohr and stuff. She adds such detail, and I feel like if I don't do the shading, I'm missing out. I mean, sometimes her shading is so light, but it adds so much. So I'm trying to work from right to left, and things I've used, I move over here. So hopefully I'm done. So he is going to have his little snorkel put on. Seems such a shame to cover up his cute little face. But I think it just adds something to the whole scene. So he's done. So then this one is in his little, whatchamacallit here, his little floaty. And I was trying to keep to like the bright beachy colors. I mean, it's been years since my kid was something I had to, you know, take toys and all to the beach with. So I'm trying to like remember what some of the classic beach stuff was. And the coloration, God, it's like everything's changed. I mean, he's not even 20 yet, but the differences of what they have to offer for like kids' toys cracks me up. So I'm just doing red, and then I used a little bit of the YR46 to just, again, give it a little bit of shading. To me, I don't think it adds much, but hey, what do I know? A lot of these big YouTube personalities do it, so I guess it's gonna have something to do. Something to do with it. Yeah, there it does. I think it did. Now I could use it like that, and it would be great for a life ring. I have other cards I want to do, and I needed a life ring. So this is why I'm trying to be very strategic in what I bought. And I really liked, because again, I think I could use that for a life ring. I liked that the characters could be looking like they're reclining. Or I'm also thinking they're looking like their arms are up. Like, you know, like to me you could do it like they were playing volleyball or something. But I thought it was really cute with the stuff to add on, the flip-flops. And I like the mix and match saying. So, and I like they got the speech bubble. There was a lot in the set that I thought was good for mixing and matching. So then I'm using, I don't really have a lot in the yellows. Come to find out, when I did this, I was realizing how many of the E's, the earth tones, I have a ton of earth tones, like overwhelming. So I was buying a lot of these when there was like the 40% off coupon that you would get for Hobby Lobby, and they stopped that like over a year ago, and I'm so sad because I used to just go in and I would buy like one at 40% off, and just, you know, that's how I was adding to my collection. And unfortunately they stopped that. Like as soon as they I guess got to the point where Michaels was their only competitor or something, they didn't have to do it anymore. I don't know, it's weird. So I just added a little bit of shading on that. And then I stuck my little guy inside, which again, I don't know if he's supposed to be inside or not, but he is for me. I think he was supposed to be sitting on top, but so he's done. The sun, I did the same, but what I did with the sun was I kind of just very broad, like very, I was kind of messy about it. Went with the Y19, and then I went back with the Y08 and filled in, because I didn't want it to be all like one color, but I wasn't going to get a lot of change of coloration with it. So that was, I just kind of messed around with that. So that was the sun. Then the ball, I only have so many colors. I went with this B24 on, I didn't have a lot of blues at all. I don't even have a color to add shading on this, so, you know, it is what it is. I did the Y08, and then I went back to the R46. And I lied. I didn't use all them colors in here. I started to work on another. I got a call when I was doing this from a friend that I only speak with a couple times a year, and it was going to be a lengthy call, so I was working on some other projects at the same time. So I don't have, there's 3 colors I had out that I'm not going to be using. So if you had stopped the camera and wrote them all down, these are the 3 I'm not using. These are from a different project. Or no, I'm still lying. I used that one on the face of the sloth. So now that's what we're left with the sloth. I used, yes, that's right. E51 is on the face of the sloth. I was really having a hard time with. I probably should have put the snorkels on him, because I had a really hard time deciding what I was doing with his face. So then the browns, I love this combination of E35 and E57. I don't know why. I just think they kind of really mesh well together. And I'm one that likes to lay down my light color, come back with the dark, and then go back with the light. So I'm just laying down all of this E35. And I'm just adding a little bit of color in his eye. I'm just kind of flicking it in there. And then I will use, I keep holding on to that, E57 for his shading. I'm just pulling down those arms a little bit more, flicking a little bit in that head, and a little bit under the chin. And that's it. And then I'm just gonna go back and pull, I'm gonna leave the stomach the color it is, And just pull in a little bit of this other. Actually, I'll flick a few in there because those lines are going to bleed out. So that's my sloth. So now I am going to go cut my surf, and I will be, you know what? I'll be right over here. I'll be right back. Ooh, I should cut this out. I should have cut it out. Too late now. Oh well. You guys get to hear me from a distance. And I will get into what I'm going to show you in a second. Alright, so let me bring this over here and bring it back in so that you can see what I'm going to do. I have 3 dies with this set. This is the Lawn Fawn Waves border. And what I did was I'm taking this, you've got this, and you've got that. So now I used this smaller, tighter one, and I used this one that's the bigger one. Now I'm going to take the medium one, and I'm going to just cut off that one. I'm going to run that through and I'll be right back. So this is how I'm going to get 3 of the sections of waves from one of these. So this is my closest one, or that could be my furthest one. Doesn't matter. So I think I'm going to lay it down. So then what you can do, if you want this to be, matter of fact, this could be the one in the back. This could be the next one. And then that could be that one. There we go. So let's start building our scene up here. So we've got our, and that's just trash. So we've got our big piece in the back. So lay it down to a section of where you want it to be. So I think that's a good spot for it. And I'm not really worried about the sides because I'm going to trim this down slightly. So if I have a little bit that it doesn't meet up with, and I mean just a tad, I'm not talking a whole lot here, but if it doesn't quite match up, I'm going to trim it off. So there we go. I'm going to add in this, and what I'm going to do now is I'm taking just some scraps of paper and I'm going to pop these up. Of course, I don't have one right here. So I'm just going to take a piece of scrap cardstock because I didn't want a lot. I don't want dimensionals on this. If I used dimensionals, it was just going to be way too thick. So I'm just cutting off a random piece of paper, and I just want to glue it on the bottom because I'm going to be tucking all of those little critters behind there. So I don't want it to be too high up. So I'm going to just glue it on the sides and the bottom. And that'll be enough to hold it down. Let's see. I've got to put it in such a way that I'm not, okay, this has got to come down further. So I got to worry that I cover up, because this is coming to the bottom. And I am going to slightly cover up. Or I'm going to cut the bottom too, because I want this down to a what is that, a 4 by 5 1/4 inch, so I can have that reveal. So I am going to have to chop off the sides, but I didn't want to chop the sides first because I wanted to be able to line these up how I wanted them, and then take any of the bare spots that I left behind off. And right now you can see I don't really cut in these like straight lines. I'm not very good with that. I'm not very good with straight lines. So then we will just add this to the bottom and glue our pieces on. Yeah, see, I don't know that I'm going to get this all the way to the bottom. So when I cut off, first thing I'm doing is cutting that bottom off. So now we have 3 lines. Doesn't really matter what those swirls were, does it? You don't even see it. Well, let's stick our little guys in here. He is going, here's our card. He is just going right over here somewheres. And again, there's like no trying to get this level because there is no being level. I did like having the little wave in his tube. So I'm gonna try and stick him in here. Ooh, he's not wanting to go in there. There we go. So we've got a wave that came in to him. And we got our little sloth. Stick him in there somewheres. And then the ball, I just kind of, you gotta remember to have the little thing up top because of the way the direction goes. If that didn't go up top, it looked kind of silly. I just stuck my son off to the side, and however he winds up being is where he winds up being. And use your clouds wherever you see fit. I felt like the smaller one needed to be over there because I felt like the bigger one kind of balanced out over here. And if it goes off, it goes off. So now, like I said, I need this down to get the layer behind it. I need this down to a 4 by, I'm gonna move all of my Copics out of here. So I have my room. So this is going to come down to a 4 1/8. I'm gonna have to do it this way first because that sun's gonna be in the way. So I gotta come down to 4 1/8. So I'm just trimming off, oh God, what am I saying? This side is going to 5 3/8. Oh God, I could see that before I could cut. Then this is going down to 5 1/4. So there is that. Then this, let's go this way because I need this edge to come off. So we can go down to 4. It doesn't really matter. And I will just trim these off to make sure everything's straight. And there you have it. Then the thing I liked about the sentiments in here is like you could mix and match the sentiment to whatever you wanted it to be. So we are going with have a happy day. Because I felt like that was a good one to, and I laid these out on my block so that you could just cut like once through and you had the ball. So have a happy day. And I just put them any hodgepodge way because to me, if they're going to be in the ocean, they're going to be flying all around anyway. But I do have to say, if you cut, you got to look at how you cut. Like that one I cut much closer. Yeah, and this one isn't really straight. there's no way I was gonna try and put these in my cutter because they're just not gonna work. Just use your scissors. And I could have did happy birthday, but I was like, you know what? I don't know. You could have a happy day, could be like anything. Just all kinds of different, just saying hi to somebody, or maybe it's something else. Maybe it's a kid's graduation day or something, or it could be anything. Oh, here's my acetate from my stamp set. So I stuck them on. Then I just need my card base, and I'm doing a layer. This is some Misc. The color on the back layer was just something I had in my stash. I have no idea where I got it. It's just a navy paper, and yeah, it just was something that needs to go. So we stick that on there, put it on a card base, and we are done. I mean, honestly, this was probably one of the quickest cards that I got together. I thought this was so quick and easy. So I'll have to get a card base and put that on there, but that is my card. I like the horizontal. I mean, you could do this in a vertical, but I will be doing some more on this because this was a fun stamp for me, and it's giving me a chance to work with my coloring skills. So I hope you like this. I hope you got some inspiration off of how to do this. I also hope I'm showing you that you really don't have to be very well versed in coloring. I am not in any way a person, as you can see with my skill set, I am not that refined with it. And I think, you can come up with some really cute stuff. Copics are very forgiving, I find, maybe more than I thought they would be. And I enjoyed working with my Oxide inks. Like I said, I'm kind of trying to work with them here and there. So I hope you got some inspiration. I have a lot more coming in the next couple of days, so stay tuned. And I appreciate it. If you liked the video, I would appreciate a thumbs up. I'm trying to build my channel, so if you could subscribe, if you're finding that you're enjoying my videos, I would greatly appreciate it. May you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care. Bye.